everybody that has questions to use the chat function at the bottom of your screen. It looks like a little bubble, and we will receive those communications and either type back a response for everybody to see, or we'll pause at the halfway point or at the end and answering some of those questions. So please use that. All questions are good questions, but I'm going to hand it over to Joseph to get started here.
All right, excellent. Thanks, Eric. Good morning, everyone. My name is Joseph. I oversee our MLS partnerships here with CubiCasa. Excited to chat with all of you today as we kick off our partnership with Greater Cincinnati. I'm going to spend about 20 minutes probably with you today, walking through a few things. First and foremost, what CubiCasa is in general, if this is brand new to you. We'll talk about the benefits of floor plans and why they're important to include on your listings. And then we'll take a look at the technology itself, so the actual mobile app that you'll be using, and the different types of floor plans that will be available to you, including our all-new interactive floor plan called CubiCasa Tour. From there, we'll pause to cover any sort of questions that have come in, and then I'll toss things over to Daniela to dive into the product a little bit, show you the dashboard where you can access, edit, and customize your floor plans. As Eric mentioned, as we're walking through everything today, please feel free to use the Q&A function within Zoom. We'll be keeping tabs on questions as we go. We'll send over a couple of links in the chat box, so don't forget to follow along there as well. And then at the end of the webinar, we'll leave the room open for about 10-15 minutes or so, just to allow time for additional Q&A. So please feel free to take advantage of that and send all of your questions as we're walking through today. Last bit of kind of housekeeping before we dive in. I've included a QR code here on the screen for those of you that would like to get your account set up while we're together today. Feel free to scan that now. Don't feel rushed like you have to do it right now. We'll pull this up midway through. We'll pull this up at the end of the webinar and just leave it up on screen. But this is what you can scan to actually create your CubiCasa account and get started. With that, I think we are ready to dive in. So CubiCasa has one main goal here in the US, and that's to bring a floor plan to every single real estate listing across the country. So to start off, let's talk about the why behind that, what our tool actually is and how it works, and how you can help us on this mission to improve the home buying experience for consumers in your market. So right now across the US, we are seeing a floor plan demand gap. Consumers are asking for floor plans to be included on listings. They're already familiar with them on the rental and multifamily side of things. But when we look at active listings, floor plans are only on around 15 to 20% of them. And if we look at the NAR Home Buyers and Sellers Survey, I'm sure many of you are familiar with this report. Comes out every year, and one of the questions that gets asked is what website features on a listing are considered the most valuable? And what we can see, as expected, photos and detailed info about the property are always going to be number 1 and 2. I personally don't really count it as a listing if it doesn't have the 2 of those. But outside of the basics, we can see that floor plans are the single most desired add-on for consumers. And if you look at this report from any time over the last few years, the results have remained very much unchanged, with floor plans continuing to be in that top spot. So we know that the demand is there, and we know that this is something that consumers are really interested in seeing. But why are floor plans so important? I think the easiest way to boil it down is that it helps buyers understand the properties fit for their lifestyle. If you're on a search portal, for example, you pull up a listing, you're swiping through the photos on the carousel, you're essentially learning about that home room by room or sort of piece by piece. But when you have a floor plan available, you have that easy to view, easy to understand, quick glimpse into the entire property as a whole. So it allows you to see the size of the rooms, the flow between them. You can learn if and where current furniture will fit. But I think the most important piece, like I said, is being able to understand if the property layout suits your client's family. Are the kids' bedrooms near the primary bedroom, for example? Or on the flip side of that, are the kids as far away from the parents as possible? Is there a dedicated space kind of off the main action of the home that could be used for a home office or a guest space? A floor plan is really going to be the best way to understand the property, to make sense of those types of questions, and can even help you to tie all of the listing photos together, since each photo is typically just of one single space at a time. So now that I've got you thinking about the benefits of floor plans kind of in general, Why should you add them to your listings? There's a couple of key reasons that I like to highlight. First is that it allows you to stand out. So when you include floor plans and really just great media in general. One of the real world examples we're seeing a lot of success with is agents will actually scan the property while they're on site as part of their listing presentation. So not only are you showing these potential clients the extra work that you're going to put in to create awesome marketing materials for the home, but then you have a really nice and easy touch point the following day. Once the floor plan's been created, you can get back in touch with that homeowner, the potential client, share the floor plan that you created of their home, and go back over how you're going to use that as part of your marketing game plan. And plus, because floor plans are still kind of gaining traction right now, it's an easy way for the listing to stand out and then for you personally to stand out as being that sort of forward thinking, tech savvy agent in the market. And the second key reason, as I just talked about, consumers want to see floor plans. So this is a really easy way for you to appeal to potential home buyers and can even help you to generate better qualified leads who know and understand that the property fits their lifestyle and what they're actually looking for before taking any sort of next step. Now, outside of just your new listings, you can also use CubiCasa to provide helpful resources to your buyers. So you can scan homes as you're touring them, for example, and be able to provide your clients with the floor plans, of course, but even some of the additional detailed reports that we offer to help them make the decision of which home to actually move forward with. We have a cool feature called snapshots that allows you to take photos as you're walking through scanning, and then you'll get a report at the end showing each of your photos next to where that photo was taken on a floor plan. So this is a nice way to highlight key features of a space that maybe aren't included on the listing photos. Or the example I always give, if you're working with first-time home buyers, this is a nice way to pinpoint where things like the electrical panel or the hot water tank, those sorts of things are within the home, where they'll have the photo for reference and then the floor plan with the actual pinpoint of where that photo was taken, kind of serving as the map to where those features are in the space. Incorporating all of this into your day to day while working with buyers is not going to take a ton of time. So, this is a really easy way for you to show value to your clients as you help get them into their next home. I do always like to note, as a best practice, if it's not your listing, just be sure to check in with the listing agent before you actually scan the home. So all of that is about floor plans kind of in general. How does that lead into what CubiCasa is and why I'm actually talking with you today? To give you some high level background, we started a number of years ago essentially as a floor plan redraw service. But we've evolved into what we are today, which is an amazing mobile app that allows you to quickly and easily scan a property in just a couple of minutes to create an accurate floor plan of the home. You'll be able to showcase the layout of the space, of course, like you see there on the top right, but you'll also be able to generate things like the individual room dimensions that you can then use to populate the listing and be able to share with those potential home buyers. Now, I'm sure you're probably picturing this in your head as being a complicated and technical process, maybe even time consuming, even though I did just say 5 minutes. The good news is that it's probably easier than you're picturing in your head. If you look at this image on the right-hand side of the screen, that gives you a good glimpse into the steps that you'll take. You'll open up the app, enter in and confirm the property address, and begin the new scan. You'll walk the perimeter of each room in the space, scanning as you go. You'll capture everything inside the home. Once you've captured everything on the interior of the space, you'll be able to step outside to capture any areas like porches, decks, or patios that you want included on the floor plan. You're also going to get real-time feedback as you're walking through scanning, which helps to make the process as easy as possible for you as the scanner. But the more important piece of that is it allows you to get the most accurate scan, so you'll get the most accurate measurements and floor plan as the end result. The last thing to note about the app is that it is available for both Apple and Android devices. Any device from the last like 8 to 10 years will work for you. So now let's take a look at an actual scan in action. Unfortunately, I can't show a live demo with my computer kind of following me throughout as I scan, so this will be the next best thing. I'll send over the link to this video in the chat box in just a couple of minutes. Since we're over streaming, sometimes it can come through a little choppy or pixelated. But once I get this playing, you'll see two separate views here. So the main view of the video is just a screen recording of the actual device, the CubiCasa app. So you'll see the actual scanning experience there. And then along the bottom, the sort of secondary view that you see is actually filming the woman as she's walking through scanning. So you can see exactly how she's holding up the device and kind of walking around the perimeter of the space. So first step when you pull up that scan will be to select the property type, single family home, townhouse, apartment, condo. You can scan any type of property. And then it will pull up this camera type view where you're ready to walk the perimeter of each room in the space, scanning as you go. You'll see that real-time feedback pop up that I mentioned. It's sort of this red caution tape across the screen. If you're moving too quickly, for example, if you get too close to a wall, those sorts of things to help you correct things along the way. You'll scan all rooms on the interior of the space. So we saw a closet area, a bathroom. We got a glimpse into that living space as well. You'll capture everything inside the home. Without pausing or stopping the scan after that, you'll be able to step outside and capture any exterior spaces like this deck area. You can even scan things like detached garages or ADUs, all as part of one single home scan. Once you finish scanning, so you've captured everything inside, you've captured any of those outdoor spaces, you'll be able to submit it to us directly in the app, and your floor plans will be available to download within 24 hours. It really is just as simple as you saw there, holding your device and walking around the space. Now, the scanning process will work on all different types of properties. So in that video, we got a quick glimpse into a couple of interior areas. We saw that deck area with the built-in hot tub. I always like to show this example here of a pretty non-traditional layout. We've got curved walls here, which are always a pain to measure. There's a pool in the backyard. There's an ADU off of the main property. All of this was captured as part of one single scan. And the same process will be true for homes with multiple stories. You just need one single scan. In those situations, we recommend starting in the basement or lowest level of the home. Scan that entire level without pausing or stopping the scan. You'll scan the staircase as you walk up to the next level, scan that level, and so on. And then you'll be able to step outside without pausing or stopping the scan and capture any exterior areas that you want featured on the floor plan. Now, once you've completed the scan, the floor plans will be available to download within 24 hours. As I mentioned, we have partnered with Greater Cincinnati to offer unlimited free basic floor plans, which is what you see here on the screen, and what we call Light. This is a really great option to start making floor plans a little bit more standard practice as you're getting your listings put together. It's going to cover properties up to 5,000 square feet of scanned area. So that will include the internal square footage, as well as the square footage of any of those outdoor spaces that you capture, like a deck on the back of the home. And it's available to save with or without the room dimensions included. So the example you see on screen, if you can see my cursor here hovering over the family room, I'm sure the text is kind of small, but hopefully you can make out that there's two lines. We've got the name of the space and then the dimensions listed below. If you just wanted more of a marketing style floor plan, you can toggle those dimensions off and just have the rooms with the name of the space listed. Last thing to note about this free option is that if you are using this option, you actually don't even need to add a credit card to your account. You'll just be able to scan properties and get those light free floor plans. On top of this free basic option, we do have a number of paid add-ons that you can choose from. Everything that we offer is all created from that same 5-minute scan. So there's nothing different or additional that you need to do to create these different options. And everything is also available a la carte. So you can pick and choose what's wanted or needed for each individual property that you scan. This slide here shows our three most popular options. Light is that free basic floor plan that we just talked about. Plus is an upgraded package that includes a number of different things. I would say the key piece of this here is the fixed furniture. So you'll see things like appliances in the kitchen. If there's an island or wraparound countertop, those will be drawn onto the floor plan. You'll also see fixtures in the bathrooms and wet spaces. So things like tubs, toilets, vanities, all of that will be included. It also allows you to create custom styles. So you see one of our pre-made color templates here. It's going to include a couple of different reports, a home report, which will detail key features of the home, and snapshots, which we talked about, which allows you to take those photos as you're walking through scanning. And it's also going to include our all new CubiCasa tour, which is an interactive floor plan that you can create just from the scan as usual and the listing photos that you're taking for the property. Lastly, we've got Plus 3D, which, as the name implies, introduces a 3D style floor plan. The 3D floor plan will have colors and textures matched as closely as possible to the actual space, and it's going to have loose furniture drawn on as well. So things like sofas, beds, dining tables, all of that will actually be on the floor plan just to help better visualize the space. In addition to these three kind of main popular options, there are some different add-ons that you can select. We have a GLA report or gross living area report. This is typically used by appraisers if we've got any joining us today. I'll give you a closer look at this in just a moment, but essentially this will show the livable versus non-livable square footage. And then these other two options. So I mentioned that free basic floor plan will be turned around within 24 hours and cover properties up to 5,000 square feet. If you need your floor plan faster, that's an option for you. And if you do have a property that goes above that 5,000 square foot threshold, it can still absolutely be scanned. We can still absolutely create a floor plan for it. There's just a cost associated with those larger properties due to the increased production cost on our end. And lastly, we've got our line of 3D floor plans. This is a style that a lot of apartment communities are already using. As I mentioned, it just helps to better visualize the space. So this is something that consumers are already going to be familiar with. Plus 3D is what we talked about a moment ago. That will include the actual 3D floor plan image, kind of looking down into the space. If you select the Plus 3D floor plan, you can also add on a video rendering, which will be a couple minute long walkthrough of that rendered space. And lastly, we've got CAD files. These are going to be editable files that you can use for any sort of digital modeling or planning. If you're working with somebody who's going to remodel the home, take down a wall, anything like that, you can do all of that work digitally before you actually go in and start any sort of renovation or even demolition of the space. One thing to note about the CAD files is you will actually receive both 2D and 3D files in that one single package. Now, as a reminder, with all of the products that we just looked at, not only will you have unlimited access to those free light floor plans, you're also going to see an MLS sponsored 10% discount for any of the paid add-ons that you choose as part of our partnership with Greater Cincinnati. This is why the prices have all been slashed out. You may have noticed over the last couple slides, that's to reflect that 10% discount that all of you will receive. Now, to give you a quick glimpse at some of those different reports that I said we'd come back to, first up is the GLA report. I've got a sample here on the right-hand side. You'll get a simple PDF document with all of the necessary details and calculations, making it very easy to upload directly into your appraisal software. You're going to get consistent results that are aligned to ANSI standards, so it matches exactly what you need. And even for agents joining us today, this is a nice way to show the livable space of a property. If you've got a partially finished basement, for example, or if areas on the top story of the home have low ceiling height, this will show that breakdown of livable versus non-livable space, giving you the actual room dimensions and calculations along the bottom, and then an easy to read floor plan, green versus red for livable versus non-livable spaces. Now, with those plus style floor plans that we talked about, that will include these different reports that I want to highlight real quick. We've got the home report, which will include a cover page with those kind of high level key details of the home, beds, baths, total square footage, if there's a garage, that type of info, and then dives into a level by level and room by room breakdown of the space, making it very easy to share things like the individual room dimensions with your clients. You see a sample page of that home report here in the background. And then again, we've got snapshots, which allows you to take those photos as you're walking through scanning. And then you'll get the report with all of your photos next to floor plans, pinpointing where each of those was taken. Again, just a great way to highlight key features of the property or things that are maybe new to those first-time home buyers. In addition to these different reports that are included with our Plus floor plans, you'll also be able to create an interactive virtual tour of the properties that you scan with our all new AI powered CubiCasa tour. So this tour allows you to take the floor plan that you're already creating. There's nothing different or additional that you need to do there. Upload the listing photos that, again, you're already taking for the listing anyway, and kind of marry them together with this automatically generated virtual tour. We'll create this on our end. We will host the URL. So it's just a simple copy and paste for you into the virtual tour field of the listing or to share out on social media, wherever you want to blast it out from there. And the experience will look just like what you see on the right-hand side of the screen here, a photo carousel that you can swipe through, and then a clickable interactive floor plan on the left-hand side. Each of those little green icons that you see on the floor plan ties to one of the photos that was taken. So you can click into each of those little green icons. The color will change to show you exactly where you are within the space, and that will highlight where that actual photo was taken. So it's a really nice, clean experience for consumers. And for you, it's a really fast, easy, and affordable way to create an interactive floor plan, a virtual tour from the media that you're already creating for the listing, the floor plan, and then your listing photos. So that's everything that I wanted to cover with you today in terms of what CubiCasa is and all of the available products that you can create. From here, there's kind of two different paths that you can take. So first, if all of this sounds interesting to you, you want to have floor plans for your listing, you want to create the CubiCasa tour, but maybe don't have the time to scan your properties or just don't want to, that's totally fine too. The good news is we work with a number of photographers who actually include our floor plans as part of their regular interior photo shoots. They'll be able to create all of these awesome options for you alongside getting the listing photos that you're already going to be creating for the property. You can get connected with local photographers either by scanning this QR code here or by logging into your CubiCasa dashboard. Either option will take your actual location and show you local photographers that we work with. Again, don't feel rushed to scan this now. We'll pull this QR code up and leave it up on screen at the end of the webinar today. So you can either scan that or log into your account. You'll be able to find local photographers either way. Now, on the flip side of that, if all of this sounds interesting to you and you do want to create the floor plans, you do want to go in and be able to edit them, create custom styles, and all that sort of fun stuff, I always like to highlight our amazing support team. There's a lot of different things that you can do, a lot of things that you may have questions about as you get started with scanning. You'll be able to reach us at any time. We've got live chat baked into both the mobile app and desktop site, sort of a little speech bubble icon that will kind of follow you throughout. That will be the fastest way to get in touch with us. Or we have a dedicated priority email inbox specifically for our MLS partners like you guys, which is just mlshelp@cubicasa.com. So now moving into next steps for you to get started. First up, of course, is to create your CubiCasa account if you haven't already. You can do so by scanning the QR code that I'll pull back up here on screen in just a moment, or by clicking through the CubiCasa link on your MLS dashboard. Either option will automatically affiliate your MLS membership and pre-populate that discount for you. And then once your account is created, you'll be ready to start scanning and getting floor plans for all of your listings. It really could not be any easier. I always recommend download the app, do a test scan of your own home. You'll see how fast and easy the process is. You're also probably already familiar with the measurements within your home, or at least have a general idea of them. So you'll get a chance to see how accurate the floor plans are as well. So that's everything that I've got for you today. Eric, I'm going to toss it over to you because I believe we have a special guest joining us, and I'll let you
Yeah.
share the details about that.
Awesome. Thanks, Joseph. Yeah, before we get to Brian, I do want to just cover, and great questions coming through on the Q&A. One that I try to highlight every time when we get to this point, in regards to is there subscriptions or monthly fees or requirements? No, there's no catch here. We're a tool for you when you need it. We don't believe in locking people up into subscription based pricing models with the volatility of listing you know, who knows, maybe you'll get 5 next month or 0, right? So we don't have any kind of fee requirements, subscriptions, or monthly minimums. It's as you need it. We do have a free option that Joseph showed you, the our light floor plan, which is a pretty basic marketing floor plan that is free up to 5,000 total square feet. The majority of homes are coming in under that number, so rest assured that there's no catch there. But yeah, we try to make this, the barrier of entry, low and easy, just like our tool is to use, right? So we encourage you to try. Everyone gets a free upgraded version of a CubiCasa floor plan, like our GLA floor plan or a fixed furniture floor plan, just for creating an account. But yeah, and then you've got unlimited access to that light floor plan option through our partnership with Cincy MLS. So please give it a shot. It's super, super easy to use. And actually, I'm going to have one of our power users, Brian Jackson, is joining us today. He's with Keller Williams, Seven Hills, excuse me. Been using our tool for a couple of years now, so was excited that we were able to partner with Cincy MLS and bring Brian here today to talk about his experience with the tool, just how easy it is and how he's incorporated this into his business and his listing media and marketing materials. So welcome, Brian. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Awesome. So yeah, if you wouldn't mind just sharing a little feedback, I love having a local in that market that's not from CubiCasa, you know,
Yeah.
describe their experience with the tool and how you've worked it into your business.
Yep. We were introduced to CubiCasa in July of 22. So we've been using it ever since. But it's become an essential part of our, presentation and our listings. So we decided in 22 to scan every home. And we do it for a couple of reasons. We have now accurate, gross living area to price homes. Um, I would imagine most people on the call today have had a hang up in the MLS when you have to add room dimensions now as part of the listing. So easily I can pull that up. I have that information at my fingertips. So that's been a game changer. More recently, we've been using the CubiCasa tour. So we now upload the photos and let them, map out on the floor plan where that photo was taken. But it's really about the customer experience. We want to deliver good information and set the right expectations.
That's awesome. It's great. And, I think there's been such a lack of floor plans in the listing history over the past 20, 30 years. I mean, NAR does an annual survey. Joseph showed you some of those statistics that NAR every year interviews buyers and sellers involved in their transactions, and it's the third most requested data element outside of pictures and general property description every year, over and over. This is the same feedback that customers have given. They want to see them, but it's never been cheap or easy to produce these, right? You're sketching, you're having to put it into sketching software. People make mistakes. You send 2 people into a house, you're going to get 2 different results basically every time. But now we've given everybody the ability to do it with their mobile device, right? So it's a great way to gut check, what you might be relying on in public records or past listing history, to give you some peace of mind, or if it's smaller than what you're scanning and see the property be as, like, it's a great pitch to go back and call out to your potential customer that you were able to identify that the house was actually larger than what public records or other data sources were showing. So great tool. We've seen tremendous growth in this space. When we started CubiCasa and partnering with MLSs across the country 2.5 years ago, we were seeing CubiCasa floor plans on less than 3% of listings nationally. And as of August of 2024, it's almost 25% of listings now. So tremendous growth. It's through partnerships like we have with Cincy MLS, and really encourage everybody to start incorporating this. The consumers want it, right? This is an easy way to add value to the transaction now with the free option as well, right? So appreciate you sharing, Brian.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to touch on?
Well, the other thing I would add is, yeah, I mean, it is super easy to use. I think I've scanned up to like 8,000 square feet in under 5 minutes. So if you get good at it, there are some basic, um, steps to take as far as where you want to start, what you want to do as far as panning up and things like that. But we've used it even for like, buyers wanting CAD files. We've used that part of it too. It's been great. But these tools really just allow us to showcase properties, and then they help us build trust and credibility by going above and beyond and delivering value to the client.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Brian. And it's never been easier to do. Anyone can do this. It's such a little amount of time committed to the process. Our delivery, you're going to get it guaranteed back within 24 hours. Um, this just opens up a new world of media that, unless you were a photographer or had, a $5,000 camera or, an hour to bubble jump around with a tripod and do these elaborate 3D tours. Like, it's simple now. This is 5 minutes of your time, if that. And as Brian said, you'll get more comfortable using the tool as you do more and more scans, and try it on your own home. We always encourage everyone to try it on their own property first, so you get familiar with how the app responds. The beauty of it is it gives you real-time feedback. So if you're moving too fast or you're too close to the wall, the app will tell you, and you just correct it, and that warning stops firing. So super easy to use. You do not have to be tech savvy to have success using this. And I do believe you'll have an aha moment. Everybody thinks they're doing a poor job on that first scan, and then you get the report back. And I was certainly blown away with the results when I did it for the first time, and I think everybody else will hopefully have a similar experience. But thanks, Brian. We appreciate you joining.
Yeah,
And
no more. One more
yeah,
thing, Eric,
yeah,
before I jump off here. What we have found is every scan that we have done, if it's a house built before 2000, there's inaccuracies in the gross living area. So that's Hamilton County. That's like real life. All these agents that are on the thing, that's a huge value for sellers. And then the other thing is I think he said that if you sign up, I think you have to use the MLS, the same email that you have on file with the MLS for that to just automatically. That's all I got.
awesome. Thank you, Brian. Yeah, and if anybody has any questions, again, our customer support team is awesome. I'll pump my team up. We're here basically 24 hours a day. We have, our company originated in Finland, so we've got folks across the pond. So our time zones align. So we're basically available 24 hours a day, and Saturdays, Sundays, 9 to 4 Central on Saturdays and Sundays. But easy to get hold of. If you have any questions about your account, reach out to our team. We respond quickly, and we're happy to help. But with that, I will let Danny kind of wrap up the rest of today's presentation with giving you a glimpse of what the user dashboard looks like. So this is, let's say, post scan, you'll get your notification, your floor plan's ready to go. This is where you would log in. You either can do it on your cell phone, or Danny's going to show you the desktop version today. It's got a little more features and you can customization access that you don't have in the mobile app. But take it away, Danny.
Thank you, Eric, and thank you for everyone who's been using the Q&A so far. We've been receiving great questions, so feel free to still keep sending your Q&As. We'll keep tabs on them, and we'll leave a few minutes at the end for those questions as well. But as Eric was mentioning, I will just spend just a few more minutes kind of just walking you around how to navigate through your dashboard account so that you're comfortable accessing your orders and some of the additional features that you have access to. So once you create your CubiCasa account, you will have access to it through the app, which is where you'll be creating orders. And once you send them in for processing, you will have access to them in this dashboard view that I have pulled up on the screen for us. Once you sign in, you will be on your dashboard page. At the top, you'll have access to photographers that are generated based on your local area that provide CubiCasa floor plans for all of their photography packages. But most importantly, at the bottom is where you'll be able to access your most recent orders. To click on that order, all you have to do is select that address and you'll be taken to that order page. Now, some of the features that you will see on every order page is you'll notice at the top, you'll have your address and an option for you to edit it if you would like to at any point. Then you will have these different tabs available that will basically give you access to all our different packages and products, depending on what you order through the app. Right now, I'm under the 2D product tab. So I have the Plus floor plan here. And from this page, you can also download all of your products as well. Moving on to the next tab is our CubiCasa Tour. So this is available under the Plus package. And just to give you a look at what that looks like to generate a tour, it's very easy. It's just 3 simple steps in order to do so. You'll go under this CubiCasa Tour tab, and then your first step is just to upload your photos. Number 2 is you'll select the cover photo, so the first photo that will appear on your tour, and then you will generate the tour. It only takes just a few minutes for that tour to generate for you. Afterwards, you will be able to preview it within your web account like you see here on the screen. Now, if you see something that needs to be adjusted within your CubiCasa tour, maybe the location markers are a little bit too close together, you can actually edit it using the quick edit tool, which once you open, you'll have access to not just adjust the tour itself, but also your 2D floor plan. There were some questions on the chat about how to adjust labels or different features within your floor plans, and this is how you access the quick edit tool. From there, you'll just select the floor that you want to adjust. So let's go to the second floor. To adjust the tour specifically on the left-hand side menu, you'll select the tour marker icon. And then from here, if you select the marker and drag it with your mouse, you'll be able to adjust the positioning. If you select the small circle on top of it and drag, you'll also be able to adjust the orientation. You'll notice that when I clicked on it, this box appeared with all the photos that are included within the tour. From here, you have additional editing options such as rearranging the photos, uploading additional photos, removing photos from your tour, and even placing some of the photos that maybe our AI system couldn't match. It's super easy. You just click on that photo, drag it within the floor plan, and now you have created that tour icon. Other common editing features that you can do for your 2D floor plans, so this does include the light floor plan as well, is adjusting the labels. So if you click on that label and this black box appears, you can adjust the label to anything you would like. You can type in your own customized label. You can even create your own labels as well. And you have other editing options as well. So if you have the plus with the fixed furniture icons, you can even adjust the fixtures themselves, add additional ones, or even delete if you would like. For the sake of time, I won't be able to cover everything that can be done with the quick edit tool, but if you are interested in learning more, we will put in the comments section, if we haven't already, a link to our Help Center article, and I will also show you where to go find that here at the end as well, where you'll find tutorials and instructions on everything that can be done with the quick edit tool. But once you are done and you save your model at the top, finishes loading, you can exit out of the screen, wait 2 to 3 minutes for it to load, and then your updated tour or 2D floor plan will be available for you. When you are ready to share your tour, you can select the share icon at the top. And here you will have access to the shareable link that you can submit into your listing. You'll also have the embedded code if you want to do more deeper integration with that tour. You can also choose to deactivate your tour at any point in time once your listing goes off market maybe. And you can also choose to select whether your tour includes room dimensions or not, or the property address. The next tab I want to cover is our GLA, and it sounds like we have some appraisers on the call with us today, which in this case, this is a product that I would say you definitely need. It is an ANCI aligned floor plan. It's different than the listing floor plan, and it includes space, like which spaces are livable versus non-livable. It includes exterior wall measurements and the reasonings why some spaces are excluded within the floor plan. You can order the GLA under the light package. You don't need to have it under the plus. And not only do you get access to our appraisal grade floor plan, you'll also be able to see the measurements on the listing floor plan version as well. Our reports tab is where you'll be able to access the home and snapshot reports that come with the plus package. And then our 3D product tab is where our 3D floor plan and video render is housed, as well as CAD files if that is something that you need. At any point in time, you can always upgrade to any additional products if you're interested under the upgrade icon at the top. Simply select which product you would like to order. You will review that order, and then once you submit it, we'll get started on working on it for you. So those are some of the high-level features within your order page. Next, I want to cover another big tab, which is how to add your MLS discount code if you already had a pre-existing account with CubiCasa. It looks like we did receive 1 or 2 questions on that as well. So to do that, you do not need to create a new account. Simply go under Settings, Company, and under MLS Membership. You will add your MLS name, your MLS login ID. You'll select verify account and hit save. And once that is done, you will be able to view your MLS discount code here at the top, and it will be automatically applied to your account. If you are part of multiple MLSs, you can still add those MLS discount codes to your account, and the highest discount will just apply to your account. In that similar vein, your billing tab will be available here as well. And as Eric mentioned, again, we don't have any hidden subscription fees or anything that you need to worry about with the light packaging. But if you are interested in any of the more upgraded products and you want to view your billing on a later basis, you can always do so under this page. And you'll also see a detailed view of every add-on that you include per order for your invoicing as well within this page. Now, the last thing I'm going to cover with you guys today is your styling. So if you do decide to go with the plus or above packages, you'll be able to customize and personalize your floor plans as much as you or your clients want. If you are new with us, you won't have any of these templates created, but you can get started by selecting Create Style. From here, you will have a number of different editing options for your floor plan, such as what language you want your floor plan labels to be displayed in, how you want the measurements to be shown, if you want to brand your floor plans with your own logo. And then we do have the option for you to further brand your floor plans with the coloring of them. So that's accessible for you. We also have default styles pre-made for you that you can select from in preview. Our most popular one is earth tones. And you can even adjust things like the label text style, font, and even how the letters are casted. One thing I do want to mention is that all of our floor plans have a disclaimer text at the bottom that note that the floor plans are created by the CubiCasa app. Measurements are deemed highly reliable but not guaranteed. You can choose to remove this disclaimer text entirely or even write your own if you're more comfortable with that option. And the last thing is you have different options of what measurement methods you want displayed within your listing plus floor plans. The plus package automatically comes with gross internal area. So this is all interior square footage. It does not include exterior areas or exterior wall dimensions. If you are an appraiser, you will more than likely need the GLA instead. And then our total area simply calculates any large order processing fees for you. So if you don't want any of these measurements, you can also unselect this feature entirely as well. Once you are done, you can hit save and your template will be available. If you create more than one style, you can set which one will be your default automatically in the app so that you don't have to think about it every time you create a new order. And if you ever need to adjust the style of an order from the past that has already been made, it's pretty easy. Just go to your order list and then select the order you just want to make changes to. Select change style. And then from here, select the style template you want. It will load for about 2 to 3 minutes. After that, your new template will show on the floor plan for you. So that is everything I wanted to cover with you guys today. The last thing I'm going to mention is you'll notice this chat bubble following you around the screen wherever you go at the bottom. This is where you can find our Help Center knowledge base under the Help tab. It's a keyword searchable database where you can find information on everything that we've covered today, so you don't have to commit it to memory. And if you do need to get a hold of us, under the Messages tab is where you can get a hold of our live chat and ask us any questions that you might have, and someone on the other side will be more than happy to help you. So with that, Joseph, I will pass it back to you to close us out for today.
All right, excellent. I'm going to get my screen re-shared here. Bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to pull up those 2 different QR codes. Again, on the left-hand side of the screen is what you will scan to create your account, and on the right-hand side of the screen is what you can scan to get connected with local photographers. I want to direct everyone's attention to the chat box. Eric and I have been sending over a few links there that will be helpful for you. The video that we watched earlier for how to scan. We've included a couple Help Center articles for how accurate are our floor plans, how to use the quick edit tool. We also sent over the direct link to actually sign up for your account. So if you're having any issues with the QR code, or if you can't locate the link on your MLS dashboard, just click that link that we sent over in the chat box. That will take you to the same place. We're going to leave the room open here for the next 10-15 minutes or so. So please feel free to keep the questions coming in. We'll be keeping tabs on those. But Eric, I saw you come off mute a second ago. Were there some of these questions that you wanted to share with the group before we wrapped up?
No, nothing in particular, but you know, as you just mentioned, we'll be here in the room for a little bit. I know, Guy, you'd asked us to reach out and talk about the potential appraisal product and some questions that you have. So we're an open book. We are happy to answer any questions you have. The amount of engagement we've had has been fantastic, and I think this technology itself just drives a lot of curiosity and good questions. So no question's a bad question. Fire away, and we're happy to help. But it doesn't have to be just today either. Like I said, our team's basically available 24 hours a day, Monday through Sunday. So please reach out, and those links aren't going to be gone forever. Sharon and the team at Cincy MLS should have a link to our shared landing page. So on the dashboard somewhere, and clicking through that will bring you essentially to a joint landing page where you can create your account and get the Cincy MLS CubiCasa affiliation benefits added to your account. So it should exist on your MLS dashboard as well.
Awesome.
But yeah, happy to stick around and answer any questions. Hopefully we answered everything that came through there. I know there were some follow-up questions involved, but yeah, please let us know what we can do to help. And this won't be the last time you see us. I know we have got another webinar on Wednesday, and then Joseph and Danny have a pretty awesome series. So this is kind of just your introduction to CubiCasa and the partnership itself. But we will have different webinar content. So if you want to start looking at, customization and branding of the floor plans, say for leave behind material at a showing, and your marketing materials, you can customize these to have your brand, have your company colors. There's a lot of really cool things that you can do that we'll dive into in the series of webinars that we'll host throughout our partnership with Cincy MLS. But super excited to work with you. Please reach out with any questions you have, and we'll stick around for a bit. And if anyone wants to use the raise hand function to chat, we can take you off mute too. So it's just down there in the bottom next to the chat. But thank you for having us. Thank you, Cincy MLS, for partnering with us. But yeah, excited to work with you, and looking forward to hearing all those awesome first scan stories, because I promise you'll have an aha moment, and you're going to realize how simple this actually is. So you can start doing this on every one of your listings. Cool.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks everyone. I'm going to stop the recording now, but we will be here again for the next 10, 15 minutes or so. So please feel free to take advantage of the Q&A or raise hand function. Thank you so much for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of your week and happy scanning.